Hi Year 3. Homework this week looks quite familiar, hopefully. Earlier in the week, for one of our English lessons, we looked at word classes. And there are many word classes, but the four main word classes are these four here. So nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And what I would like you to do for your homework this week is something very similar to what we did in the classroom. Now, I'm going to go through each of these in a second just to remind you. But what we're going to do, or what you're going to do, is that you will need a reading book. It can be your school reading book, it could be a reading book you got at home, it doesn't really matter. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read some of your book, and as you're reading, write down some nouns that you might find, some verbs, some adjectives and adverbs. As a reminder, and remember this is only a kind of basic run through of what these words mean, because as you go up through the school, some of these do change slightly. Nouns we're looking at very simply name a place or a thing, usually using the senses, so it's normally something you can see, something you can touch, something you can smell, things like that. Easiest one are things, so for example a table, a chair, a window, things like that. In your book you'll have to see what kind of things and objects there might be and then write a couple on here. Verbs are our actions or our doing words, so they tend to be the actions of someone or something. So for example, walking, talking, sitting, writing, spelling, things like that. Adjectives are our describing words. Generally they describe nouns, so an adjective will give you more detail about a particular noun. So for example, if the car was your noun, an adjective might describe the car. So fast, red, big, those kinds of words. And lastly, we've got adverbs. Now they do change slightly as you go higher up into the school because there's quite a few different types of adverbs. We're just looking at really simply how in terms of verbs. So an adverb will tell you how the verb is being done. So for example, if the verb was running, the adverb could be quickly or carefully. So at the moment in Year 3 we're looking at adverbs that generally end in ly, but as I said, as you go through the school up into Year 4, 5, 6 there are other types of adverbs, but we're going to focus on the basic one. So name, place, thing, your action or your doing word, describing your noun, so your describing word, and effectively describing your verb, so how you're doing something. So what you're going to do is you're going to read your book, any nouns, write them here, verbs, write them here, adjectives and adverbs. You will have to write this yourself or draw this yourself, as I forgot to print them out at school, so sorry about that. And then when you've kind of got some words in these, all I'd like you to do is can you create some of your own sentences? So can you use maybe one of your nouns, verb, an adjective, an adverb, and can you create your own sentence? So some of them might be a bit silly, some of them might be quite normal, but just have a little go and see what we can do.